So welcome students for the class of Indian Economic Development Macroeconomics. Today we are starting with the topic of rural development. Another major issue, or we can say another major challenge to be faced by Indian economy, since we can say there is a very big problem of rural regions, or we can say these are the backward regions that are prevailing in every corner of the country, since they are just attached with the agriculture areas, and even after the implementation of several reforms of agriculture, our Indian agriculture growth has been just neither of around 2 to 3% in all these 50 years or 70 years of independence. So students, we starting with the topic of rural development. If we talk about the rural development, it means there is a great need for its development, so that we can uplift the rural people also, rural region also, so that they may also be having the all basic needs with good infrastructure facilities and so on. So rural development basically refers to the comprehensive improvement or development, we can say, in respect of social as well as economic interests of the people who are living in the rural areas. So rural development refers to the comprehensive improvement of social and economic interests of backward and agricultural regions that have been declared as rural. Such regions lag behind in every walks of life, sustenance, growth and development in respect of quality of life. See students, we are living in urban area, so we know the importance of all the basic amenities, comfort, luxuries of life that we are affording today. But there are several people who are under the regions of rural, who are residing in villages. We can say there are many agriculture areas where the farmers are of very low profile, they are very marginal, very small, who are holding fragmented land. So we can say their development is of prior importance to the government, since government used to undertake the measure of social welfare. Mahatma Gandhi once said, if you need to develop the nation, you just need to look for the development of poor people or the person who is having his own farm or in agriculture. So the meaning of his words were only one, that we just need to cater to the problem of rural people. We just need to lift them towards the better growth and prosperity. So what was the need for the development? Need for the development means for the development of human resources. We just need to improvise the quality of life. We just need to develop them so that they may be able to have a good quality or good amenities of the life, so that they can also live happily, prosperly and with high morale. For balanced regional growth, it means we just don't want to maintain the differences between rural and backward regions. Rural region must also have the same importance and upliftment as the urban areas are having in today's scenario. So there must be a balanced regional growth, and the government needs to undertake several development policy programs in such regions. For example, we just need to develop more and more industrial parks or industrial areas in backward regions or in rural regions, so that we can uplift these people along with us. To eradicate poverty, to eliminate illiteracy. Poverty and illiteracy are both the major curses of the Indian economy, since in rural areas they are in abundance, and we just need to remove or reduce to a major extent. To raise employment and standard of living, we just need to as I said, that we need to develop more and more industrial parks. We just need to improvise the condition of agriculture also, and we just need to develop technically the rural people, so that they may be able to develop more towards the good quality of life. So we just need to raise the level of employment and their standard of living. To increase infrastructure, we just need to build a better road, better measures of education, health centers, medical centers, hospitals. We just need to build good accommodation facility, good housing facility to them, so that they must be able to maintain good social and economic infrastructure too. So there is a great urgent need for the infrastructure, so that the rural development could take place in a much higher pace. To build proper land reforms, still even today in the land fragmentation is on its way of hurdling the agriculture development. So we just need to consolidate the land to a far extent so that we could maintain the level of fertility, we could maintain the good higher production of crops, and just reduce the land fragmentation or scatteredness of the land. So we just need to build more land reforms so that we can build the agriculture sector, rural sector, technically advanced, right, or institutionally well. To raise agriculture and allied activities, we know that till farmers basically concerned with cropping the wage goods or some commercial crops also. But today there are wide variety of allied activities that are being followed by several farmers. More than around 70 million farmers are having the activities other than the agriculture activities. So, with respect to agriculture and allied activities, we talk about the allied activities, we can segregate in these forms, say fisheries, horticulture, animal husbandry, IT application, organic farming. These are basically termed as allied activity, means though these are the activities that are really prospering and they are raising the level of basically farmers and the people who are engaged in such activities, besides mere or we can say basic agricultural crop farming. Now, if this is the need of the rural development, this will be the source for rural development. We just need to build two things in prior importance, main importance. First, we just need to go for the development of rural credit and then rural marketing. Now, if we talk about the rural credit, we just need to develop rural credit so that the farmers will be able to cope up with the short-term needs, medium-term needs, and long-term needs. Short-term needs refers to those needs where a farmer needs to maintain his liquidity or day-to-day expenses. Since we know that when the seeds have been sown and the crop is going to be flourished, there is a very big period that is known as the gestation period. For this, he just need to maintain his level of day-to-day expenses, and for this, we need short-term credit. Medium-term credit, again, we say we just need to maintain the farm, and for the maintenance of farm, for such gestation period, for such period when the reaping of the crop, right, when the crop is just to be protected from various insects, pests, and various harms from nature also, we just need to maintain a good amount of funds for which we need medium-term finance or funds. Long-term funds if we require for the purchase of capital assets, we say for the purchase of tractors, harvesting tools, tube wells, machines, for cultivating good crop, we just need long-term finance. So these are the basic needs of finance or credit that a farmer or agriculture requires, and by this we can say this will be the first step for the rural development to be taken place. So for this rural credit we have two sources, one is institutional, one is non-institutional. If we talk about the institutional area, there are several banks, cooperative societies, self-help groups, commercial banks, land development banks have been opened by the government as the prime initiative for increasing the rural development and improvising the agriculture system. So, NABARD is basically said to be the apex bank and the main core bank that is used to give the finance or fund to several cooperative and other banks so that they may be able to grant respective loans and credit to the farmers in order to have more proper agriculture farming or allied activities. Cooperative banks have been formed for maintaining the level of farming and used to assist farmers in maintaining the short-term requirements. Commercial banks, it means although there is a very less role of the commercial bank in rural areas, but still there are several commercial banks, public sector commercial banks, for example SBI, Punjab National Bank. They are operating, Bank of Baroda, they are operating in many rural regions and areas, and they are undertaking the provision of credit to the agricultural farmers. We have land development for the consolidation of the land, for the development of land, for maintaining the fertility of the land, to just improvise arid areas or drought areas. We have land development banks too. We have regional rural banks for developing a particular region or particular section of the agriculture mass. We just need to build up the regional rural banks too. And then we have self-help groups. It means there are very small groups that have been formed by the community of farmers, community of people only in order to raise the level of fund. More than 70 lakh self-help group have been formed, preferably undertaken by the females and women. Now, if we talk about these are the institutions, these are the recognized institutions that are providing facility of finance and credit to the farmers, to the rural people, so that they may be able to get more advancement of their life, to develop, to cater to all the financial needs. Now, if these are the institutional areas, one biggest problem arises in such area, it means they just need to pledge some security for getting some kind of source of finance. If they fail to have any such kind of security, the bank is not going to grant them the loan. So it means they must be having security or loan for security or any property for the respective loan to be taken. Else they need to resort to the non-institutional sources. For example, money lenders, commercial agents, traders, relatives, rich landlords. Basically, these are the non-institutional because they are not recognized properly, and they can charge huge amount of interest, even more than what the bank is usually charged. But they are ready to provide you the loan at any time if you want. But they can misuse the honesty of a farmer, they can misuse him for the sake of granting the money, even if a local farmer, small farmer, if he failed to meet his obligation of repaying the debt, they can misuse him for their any means. And this is the basically main reason when a farmer failed to meet the financial obligations, let it be from institutional or non-institutional sources, he used to undergo for the commitment of last step, that is society. So the first thing that we need to undertake for this in respect of rural credit, that there are institutional, non-institutional areas that are providing the credit. Moreover, a farmer relies on the institutional areas or sources, but besides that, we also need to go for non-institutional due to lack of knowledge, illiteracy, poverty, and misery, or we can say, since he is not having any big property to get more finance, he just needs to resort himself for the non-institutional sources. So, coming to rural marketing. Rural marketing, we say that is concerned with a process. Rural marketing, the other name we can say, it can also be said as agricultural marketing. So, whatever the output or agricultural output that has produced by the farmer, first of all, we need to gather it, or we can say collect it. Whatever the agricultural output the farmer has just cropped up, he just need to gather or collect it. The first step, it is basically a process, a step-by-step process of getting the marketing of agricultural produce. So in simple we say rural marketing is the marketing of agricultural produce in the form of step-by-step processing of, first of all, you starting with the gathering or collecting of agricultural produce, processing it. It means we just need to segregate the actual and grade in the proper output. We just need to maintain this proper output for the purpose of grading in accordance with the quality of the output. When we have finished with the grading, we just need to undertake the packaging systematically. If we have undertaken the process of packaging, we just need to store it properly or conveniently in some warehousing facilities or away from all such kind of pests or insects that can put harms or any natural calamities that can give the serious harms to the produced agricultural output. And finally, the last step will be selling the agricultural produce. It means if we combine all these steps, we can resume the process of agricultural marketing, or we say rural marketing. So, In brief, rural marketing is the process of gathering or collecting the agricultural produce, processing it and grading it according to the quality, packaging systematically, storing conveniently away from any pest, insects or any natural harm, and finally undertaking the process of sale. In all these things, a farmer has to undertake several options. See students, as already told you that the period of gestation, it means from reaping of the seeds to the growing of the crop is very large, maybe a 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Like the farmer, when he is available with the required level of output, from gather to sale, he just need to take a lot matter to be consideration that from where I need to sell the product, to where I need to store the product, how can I package my product, how can I grade, process and collect. Now, there are a lot of difficulties since there are many farmers who are having the knowledge of farming, but they are not available with such knowledge so that they can package, store and sell properly. Many times the small and marginal farmers fail to get the recognized market or options where to sell my agricultural output. So if he is not available with the agricultural output to sell, he is just left with the misery. Since his agricultural output was very less of amount. So we have some measures to provide the rural marketing, that is number one, regulated markets or mandis, or we can say wholesale agriculture market. For example, in Delhi, Adapur Mandi. In Rajasthan, we have Mohana Mandi. There is a Raipur Mandi. So when we say these are the wholesale market, they cater for the wholesale of agricultural output to be undertaken. So such regulated market must be conducted in a large mode and must be acknowledged to all the farmer, let it be small, big or medium. Then big retail outlets. See, when we talk about Reliance Fresh, when we talk about Easy Day, when we talk about Big Bazaar, these are the very big concerns that can take the produce of the agriculture in bulk and bulk quantity. So they provide a great assistance to such small and marginal farmers that they may be able to collect the entire output even more than what is the prevailing price, so that such farmer may also get benefited. So again we say the improvisation method has one of the methods, that is big retail outlet assistance. Thirdly, we just need to build up a very strong infrastructure base. Roads must be well maintained, railways must be well provided, and so that we must need to cater the agricultural produce in a very short span of time to the wholesale market. Then cooperative marketing. Cooperative market assists the farmers, specifically marginal small farmers, so that a collection of farmers used to enroll themselves in such kind of societies or marketing authorities, so that they may be able to contact them when the agricultural produce is ready to be sold in the market. When they notify such cooperative society and marketing authorities, such marketing authorities make sufficient provisions to collect or gather the produce from such small and marginal traders. The only thing is required that they must be properly and well aware about these cooperative marketing authorities. There are various support measures that have been adopted by the government from time to time. One is PDS, Public Distribution Shop. Second, MSP, Minimum Support Price. Warehousing facility for all the farmers so that they may be able to store their produce and they may be able to sell around time. For this, government used to charge very less amount of rent for warehousing. Minimum support price, as we have already done in 11th class also, again we can say this is the minimum price support that the government says none of the seller is going to sell below this selling price, below this prevailing price, and none of the buyer can urge or negotiate the seller, preferably who are very small and marginal, to let him sell below this minimum support price. With respect to PDS, if the government acquires the output of farmer, they can sell it out to various recognized shops such as ration shop, or we can say public distribution shop, to the people so that they may be able to afford in a very subsidized cost. The entire cost of agricultural produce and sale is being borne by the government itself. So basically this is what we can say the measures to improve the agricultural marketing are about. Now the final topic that we are going to achieve now is allied activity and non-farm area. We have these following areas that we can say that now the agriculture has been diversified and not only wage crops or commercial crops are only being undertaken for the cultivation. There are several other activities that are giving more and more benefit in the form of profits, in the form of well-conducted life, as well as standard of life, and improving the fertility of soil, even improve the quality of life, even the increase in the GDP contributing to the agricultural produce also. So here are the first of all fisheries. Fisheries refers to the process of concerning with growing and catching up the fish and selling it in the market. Fish has a very great market, and along with fish we have a more, we can say the fishes are being more used for the medical purpose. Even the cod liver that is being obtained from the fish is used for, we can say, it's a healthy measure to protect several diseases that are going to become on your liver. So it is a very good helping source for the liver of the people that is obtained from the fish. So fisheries, horticulture means when we can say it's the farming of fruits, vegetables and flowers, and it has a business of around 35 to 40%, whereas fisheries has a business of around 5 to 6% of the total agricultural output. Now, if we talk about horticulture, it is being on the rise, and moreover we can say 35 to 40% of the total agricultural output is being conducted through growing up of fruits, vegetables and flowers. And if we talk about animal husbandry, it means if we talk about the poultry farm, cow breeding, buffaloes, we can say they are having a market of 26 to 30% of total agricultural output. Since we are getting milk, we are getting egg, wool. So these are basically the things we can derive from animal husbandry or the feeding up of herbivorous animals. Now, if we talk about IT application, the government is making their effort to make a good applications of IT in the rural areas, so that the people of rural areas should come up in front with more IT tech savings, so that they may be able to use more IT applications in their rural areas and become more advanced, so that they may be able to raise the level of income as well as employment. Organic farming, it is the system of farming where we say there is a very less use of the insecticide, or we can say there is an absence of use of pesticide, insecticides or any fertilizers. Moreover, we just bank upon the natural manures to be used for organic farming, because organic farming is basically a very systematic way of farming where it's a pure natural way of producing the farm, but it takes a longer period of time than what is actually being taken when we are going to use insecticides or pesticides or fertilizers. Chemical fertilizer, if we use, the crop will be grown at a very fast rate, but if we are concerned with organic farming, we produce the chemical-free goods of agriculture. The agriculture produce will be very healthy, very nutritive, very chemical-free, we can say, and moreover, this is raising the level of demand among the people at large. It is going to the business of 7 to 9% of the total agricultural produce, since people are now more concerned with the agricultural produce that must be having a very least amount of chemicals in them. Since there is a very great problem or toxic problem, or we can say the health issues that have been arising the past decades from the use of the chemical addicted fruits and vegetables, or we can say agricultural items. Because every farmer would like to produce that as fast as possible with the help of these chemicals, fertilizers and insecticides and pesticides. Now, we can say organic farming is the only way that can lead to the sustainable development. How come? Sustainable development is basically developing an atmosphere where not only it is suitable for present generation, it will be very amicable and supportive for the future generation also. So for sustainable development, we can say we just need to rely upon organic farming. Since organic farming is only a way where we can develop the crop in a very healthy note, in a very nutritive note, in a very natural note. So if you need to have a good amount of energy to produce, we just need to bank on air organic farming. So this was a very brief concept that we have taken with respect to rural development, right? I wish students this could have been a great source of information for you, right? Till then, thank you so much, students. We will be contacting you very soon. See you.